Welcome back to the NAAC. Stream It Sports here, coming to you live with the Standley Lake Gators hosting the Denver South Rebels. 34-7 is the score after the first half. My name is Andrew Fogoros. I'm joined by Josh Dover. Josh, what stood out to you in that first half?
Trevante Tasco, the big running back for the Rebels, number 24. He was the workhorse, had a couple of touchdowns, as did Marcus Lindsay. An interception for each quarterback. But Trevante Tasco, who you said it, Andrew, when he ran back out on the field, got his ankle taped up. We seen him hobbling a little bit late in the half, but got his ankle taped. Didn't seem to slow him down, the injury at all. He is a little bowling ball bulldozer, whatever you want to call him. Expect to see a lot more of Tasco. If I'm the Gators, you almost make Isaiah Singleton beat you. Stack the box, make them throw the football, take away their best option, which is Lindsay and Tasco in the backfield, and make Isaiah Singleton throw the ball downfield. And on the offensive side, you got to trust Jacob Naharo, throw the ball. And that last interception, you've seen him walk away with the trainer kind of looking at his fingers. I'm sure he's going to be fine, but you got to let him get the ball downfield and get the ball into Connor Durant's hands so Durant can make some plays. They're down 34-7 here to start. You'd like them to come out strong, score on this first drive, and bring a little bit of that momentum back with them.
As I said, Stream It Sports coming to you live from the NAAC. About to get underway here in the second half. Ball teed up at the 40-yard line for Denver South. Here comes the second half kick. Kicks it deep. Fielded at about the 12-yard line. Brought up the right side with some steam. He's got some room. He is taking it back. He is at the 40, the 30. Pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line. That is exactly what Standley Lake needed.
You're right. It's Anthony Moore with the return. He found some space on this sideline and tiptoed all the way to about the, see where they'll mark it, close to the 20-yard line, though. And that's exactly what this team needed. I'd love to see head coach Don Morris and Jacob Naranjo come out here, play action pass, and look for their guy Durant and score on this first play. That could change a lot for this team.
Absolutely. 1st and 10 for Standley Lake at the Denver South 28-yard line. Let's see what the Gators can do here on this first possession in the second half. Looks like we'll be in a single back formation for Naranjo. They usually like to put a guy in motion here. Naranjo under center.
It's Durant in the tight end spot now.
Drops back, straight pass. Brought down at the 38-yard line by Jet Jenkins again. Looks like they lined him up on the right side there.
Jet Jenkins been in the backfield a couple of times already. It looked like Naranjo was going to try to find Durant, who lined up as a tight end and then had the little chip block. And Naranjo was looking his way, but didn't have enough time. Big Jet there to make the play. I think I see him do the little eating greedy dance as well that Von Miller used to do.
It looked like it. Looked like it. 2nd and 20 at the 38-yard line for the Gators. Naranjo under center, drops back. He's going to throw the slant. And here comes the flag for pass interference. I thought that's the right call on that play.
There's Anthony Moore, the intended receiver, is number 3, Malcolm Wright, who has an interception in this game. Trying to play defense. Looks like he was just a little too aggressive. Malcolm Wright had a big interception, stepped in front of one of those slant routes and took off downfield the other way. Just a little too aggressive that time.
The refs gathering at about the 36-yard line. Standley Lake's ready to run a play. The refs are not.
I'm not sure what there's to discuss.
I don't know either. Here comes the call. Pass interference on Malcolm Wright. 15 yards, but not an automatic first down. Something new at the high school level. We see a first down at the collegiate and pro level, but that's just 15-yard penalty. 2nd and 5 for Standley Lake.
Another big break for the Gators. See if they can capitalize.
Naranjo under center. He will take the snap, drop back, pump fake to the right, flare it out to the left where he's got Kerr, breaks the tackle. Looks like we're going to get a loss of a couple on this play. to bring up 3rd and long. Something we've talked about is getting Kerr the ball in space.
Yeah, he's been a little lackluster, not at his own fault. That big defensive line of the Rebels slowing him down. And the one opportunity we seen him get the ball in space, he turned a run before he made the catch. And that certainly frustrated me. He hasn't really been himself since.
3rd and 8 at the 26-yard line for Standley Lake. Coming out in the I formation. A little surprised to not see shotgun here, but going with the I form. And Naranjo does not get the ball. Jet Jenkins with the fumble recovery for Denver South on the botched snap.
So not what the Gators wanted to have happen. They come out with the big return, get a penalty in favor of their side, and then lose a snap to turn the ball over and let the Rebels now have the first opportunity to score in this second half.
Seems like Standley Lake has had a couple of opportunities to maybe swing momentum in their favor, and something just happens.
Yeah, we talked about that Malcolm Wright pick. They were driving there, and he was able to come up with the interception and run downfield, and led to a Tasco touchdown. Again, they hurt themselves there with a fumble.
Power I formation for Denver South. Gives the ball to Tasco. Takes the ball off the left guard. Looks like he will gain about 3 yards. I don't know if you noticed on that play, Josh, we saw Jet Jenkins get in there on offense for the first time today, playing a little tight end.
The big guy is Jet Jenkins. See if they can get him in space and let him roll down the sidelines.
And he is only a sophomore as well. He is going to be a monster for this Rebels ball club. 2nd and 7, Denver South, I formation with Lindsey at the tailback spot. Let's see if they get him outside. Drops back. Little comeback route, incomplete. Looks like closed well on that play by Kellen Mueller.
It was Mike Johnson.
So we have a man down for Standley Lake.
He's on that far side. I'm not sure who it is.
Looks like we have a leg injury of some sort. You hate to see that for anybody, especially at the high school level, these young kids. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. 6-0 Strength, building better athletes with the will to be great. They prepare athletes for the next level, both physically and mentally. Visit their website at 60strength.com.
Come up, Kellen, good job.
So that injury on the far side, still not able to identify the player. We'll see if we can sneak in and look at the number. But you're right, looks like they're working on his left leg down there, the knee. You see the trainer
doing a flexibility test. That's never a good sign. We have trainers from both sides checking on the player.
Both sides taking a knee, and Gators using this time to try to gather their thoughts. Looks like they're going to help him up. Always a big success for him to walk off under his own power. Now we get to see who it is. It's number 17, Brody Hoffman, who has an interception in this game.
The junior is walking off under his own power, it looks like.
So you can see the discomfort as he walks off.
Little break in the action. We'd like to mention a few of our sponsors. Colorado Football Magazine, the only high school football magazine in Colorado. 6-0 Strength, training athletes for the highest level of competition, and of course the next level student athlete for the player of the game. These businesses are making a difference in Colorado high school sports, and as we mentioned earlier, we will select one player as the next level student athlete player of the game. We've got a couple guys in mind, I know that.
Nick Hubbock ran onto the field. He'll replace Hoffman.
Hoffman's still limping, and that's the last thing Standley Lake needs is more injuries. Denver South hands the ball off to Lindsey, who is shifting, and he bounces outside for a big game and tripped up at midfield.
Connor Durant there on a tackle.
Boy, Lindsey sure is a quick back out of the backfield for Denver South. As we see his brother getting a lot of run Up in Boulder for the Colorado Buffaloes, Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, just up Highway 93 from where we're at.
Absolutely. Got a big game, very winnable game for the Buffs this weekend against Oregon State. That's at right. Home.
The Beavers.
The Beavers.
You're going to the game.
I might actually go to the game. Not sure yet. Try to figure that out. Denver South hands the ball off to Tasco, bounces it out, cuts it upfield. He's got a running lane. He is gaining steam. He is at the 20-yard line, the 15, the 10,
still
the 5. Looks like he steps out of bounds. The ref's going to call him out at about the 7-yard line. Another big gain for a big guy.
It's the fastest, the strongest, the best athlete on this field. And again, we said it in the first half. So impressive that this young guy, a 16, 17-year-old kid, has the wherewithal to change hands, anticipate contact.
He is a very well-coached player, as you mentioned, switching hands, initiating contact, not waiting for contact there. And he was gaining speed on that play and with a taped-up ankle. Impressive player, to say the least. Singleton is under center, first and goal, runs the option to the right, pitches it out to Lindsay, cuts it upfield, and he is in for the touchdown, his 3rd score of the game.
It was a missed tackle that time by number 42, Miles Kilness of the Gators. And Lindsay able to roll into the end zone after the missed tackle.
Looks like they'll go for 2 again.
That's Marcus Lindsay's 3rd touchdown here. I know we're talking about player of the game, and Tasco's looked very impressive, but Lindsay making his case.
Can't ignore what Lindsay's done. Cannot ignore that at all. Going for 2 here, little offset formation. Singleton drops back, throws the slant, and they get the 2-point conversion. Make the score 42-7 with 8:49 left in the 3rd quarter.
Mike Johnson on the catch there. That just a good route ran there. Keeps that defensive back on his right hip, turns inside, and just a simple pitch and catch after that.
Boy, at this point in time, if you're Standley Lake, you try to put together a drive. Make it respectable. Work on a few things that you want to get better at. Just put together a drive.
Avoid injury at all costs, obviously. It's what's haunted this team. And Hoffman, the latest to go down here. We'll try to keep an eye and see if he tries to make a return. But
he was hobbling pretty bad a few minutes ago. So if I'm Standley Lake, I put him on the shelf for the rest of the game. No need to risk any further injury.
See him down talking to coach. He still has his helmet on. He's rubbing his, looks like, hamstring. So yeah, I think you're right. That's the best bet, is to keep him out and see how he feels in a couple of days. Get ready for next week.
Absolutely. Back for Standley Lake on the kickoff is Moore and Mueller.
Anthony Moore with that big return last time. Didn't turn into any points, but we know he's dangerous back there.
Absolutely. And the kick by Denver South, low kick. Going to bounce a few times. Caught at about the 15-yard line, brought to the right side. Cuts it upfield. Ball is coughed up by Standley Lake. We'll see who comes up with the ball there.
That wasn't a fumble. That was Anthony Mueller trying to make the most. I'm sorry, Kellen Mueller. And that was an attempted pitch. He's lucky that his Gator teammates fell on top of that one.
You respect the kid for trying to make something happen, but at the same time, can't try and do too much. Looks like we got a flag down on the field. See what this is. Usually in that area, it's holding on the return team. If I'm Standley Lake, I'm coming out in the shotgun the rest of the game.
Yeah, you have to take your chances downfield now. Definitely 42-7.
And they had some success with it in the first half.
You can almost use those little check downs, set up a couple of screens as your run game to keep the defense honest. But, yeah, you have to line up in the shotgun a lot, give Narajo that extra couple of seconds, because we know that Rebel defensive line is going to get after him. They're still trying to sort something out between the referees.
We've seen a lot of these referee conferences today. Wonder what the deal is. Looks like we'll get a call here. They're going to pick up the flag.
So all for naught.
Yep. Just wanted to have a little chat amongst themselves. Hey, fellas, how you doing? through the flag to catch a breather. What are you guys doing for dinner after the game? No flag on the play. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Looks like Naranjo will be in the shotgun. 2 receivers split out to the right. Going to send Durant in motion to the left.
He's got one-on-one on the top out there, but it is Loggins.
Going to run that slant. Nice play by Standley Lake. Gain of about 14. Naranjo to Durant.
As good as Devontae Loggins has looked, he's respecting Durant's speed, giving him that inside slant basically every single time, knowing that he has linebacker and safety help towards the inside of the field.
Now, Josh, it seems to me that Durant's going to get his regardless. I think Loggins has done a very fine job on him today, even though Durant has been putting up some numbers.
We talked about last week. They lost 66-33 to Dakota Ridge, and Connor Durant put up 10 catches, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you're right, he'll get his.
He'll get his regardless. Looks like they're in the pistol formation for Standley Lake on 1st down. Sacked on the play, a loss of about 8 or 9. You hear the fans telling them to throw it.
Yeah, I heard it in the headsets, and that's actually the right play by Naro to not throw the football.
Absolutely.
It's waiting for disaster if you're trying to throw the football like that. Unless your name's Ben Roethlisberger, just go down.
Exactly. Exactly. Looking at 2nd and 19 for Standley Lake after the sack. A lot of pressure on them there. They might have been trying to set up the screenplay. Those are tough with the size of the line that Denver South brings.
I think Phil disagrees with the Roethlisberger comment.
Phil's keeping us in check all day long.
He's in trouble again.
Wow. Thrown by Naranjo. That had disaster written all over it. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd and extremely long.
Julian Castellanos almost there for an interception.
Naranjo's been under pressure all game long. At this point, do you almost go max coverage and run 2 routes? I mean,
they did a good job of keeping guys like Grant Gladstone in the back to help chip block with Ruiz Perez and Michael Kerr, already a little bodied running back at 5'7", so you need some help back there.
Fake toss play by Standley Lake. Give to the up back. Gain 1 or 2 on that to bring up 4th and long.
It's a late flag.
Got a late flag on the play. Those are usually brought on by some mental mistakes. We'll see what the call is in about 5 minutes.
It is on the Rebels. I know that. Face mask, I believe we have. Let me zoom in.
Standley Lake might be catching a break here. Another conference with the refs.
You can see that S on the side of the helmet for Denver South, the Superman S.
Those are pretty sharp.
I like that.
Kind of cool.
When you come out and you're up 42-7, the S makes sense. If this were the other way around.
You might want to change that helmet.
Yeah.
Here comes the call. Utah, get me 3. Going to mark off 15 yards. Excuse me, they're going to mark off 3rd down and
still 19. No, that's not right. 9.
3rd down and 11 or 12. Excuse me. It looks like a 7-yard penalty. The very seldom yet very effective 7-yard penalty. Naranjo drops back on the pass. Goes down the sideline. Thrown out of bounds. Good coverage there by Denver South player Deshaun Griffin, the sophomore.
Trying to find Kellen Muller, who did have a step on Griffin, but Naranjo got a little more on that ball than he wanted.
Bring up 4th down and long for Standley Lake. We've talked about injuries all day. We see a Standley Lake player go and get the incomplete pass. He's in a splint.
Yeah, wearing a sling.
Or a sling, excuse me. Injury bug hit hard.
This is smart here by the Gators. Punt this ball away.
Absolutely. Go play some defense. High kick.
It's a great kick.
From Standley Lake. Wow, good coverage by Standley Lake on the play. Good tackle by Jesse Nordman, the senior for the Gators. You like to see a fair catch on that play if you're Denver South.
It's a good kick, though. Got it up in the air. Let Nordman get down there.
Absolutely.
And it's always tough for a high school kid to not let himself catch the football and try to make a play.
Absolutely. Get your school's games live streamed, whether it's basketball, hockey, rugby, or any other sport. Email Phil@streamingsports.com for details. He's the man. He's the myth. He's the legend. He's Phil. 1st and 10 for Denver South. They're coming out in the shotgun. Singleton drops back, throws the ball. Incomplete. Incomplete pass to Kevin Brooks.
Aggressive play call. It's an interesting call on 1st down, up 42-7.
I think at this point in time, Coach Lindsay for Denver South might want to work on a few things, work on a few kinks, and get it to the 4th quarter, and then maybe run out the clock. You never know, because at the same time, you are up big, but you have a game next week.
A good point. Golden next up for Denver South, so maybe getting ready for the Demons a little early. Auto should be a false start.
Flag on the play. Another refs conference. They really enjoy each other's company here. We'll get the call.
Hey, here's a quick one.
Wow. False start on the offense, moving back 5 yards. Make it 2nd and 15 for Denver South. 2nd and 15 for Denver South on the 30-yard line. Coming out in the shotgun again is Isaiah Singleton. Throws a quick pass out to Gandy, who breaks a tackle, and he's up the sideline. It looks like he has broken this play. He is going to take this pass to the house. Number 5, Isaias Gandy for Denver South.
And that goes to show, just like we talked about, this Denver South team just being full of athletes.
No question.
Gandhi just broke a couple of tackles, ran up that sideline, and not enough speed on that Gator defensive side to catch him.
Now pushes the score to 48-7.
It's a
70-yard touchdown toss for Singleton.
That'll boost the stats.
And I said if you're the Gators, you have to force Isaiah Singleton to throw the football and beat you. That time, he just did it.
Yeah. Said, look at me, Josh. I'm going to do that. I'm going to beat them. Extra point attempt. Singleton keeps thinking his kicker's lefty. That's the 2nd time he's done that. Kicker says, get on the other side, fella. I'm going to kick it with my natural foot. 48-7. Here comes the extra point. Low snap. Singleton picks it up.
Just threw that one. Oh, and a one-hand. Oh, he dropped it.
That would have been a heck of a play. Now, since the score is 48-7, we have a running clock. As per Chassel rules, when you are up by 40 points, it turns into a running clock. And we have another Standley Lake player limping off the field. Injuries are a part of the game, and some teams just get hit worse than others. Standley Lake is one of those teams.
Yeah, Don Morris, as we said, 8+ injuries in one game. Those are 8 starters, and we've already seen a couple of guys go down here or limp off here. So the Gators still coming to this game with a couple of wins on the year. They get a win versus Green Mountain. They get a win versus Littleton. So trying to persevere through these injuries, but tough when you run into just a team full of athletes. Like I said, Denver South, just guys that are bigger, faster, and stronger in most cases than the one-on-one matchups that they're finding themselves in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it, one of my favorite words, perseverance.
Perseverance, that's right.
Intensity.
It's a Drew Brees fire-up speech.
That's right.
That's what that is.
That's right. It's like the Standley crowd at Standley Lake crowd's getting a little restless. We've been hearing them yell at the refs all game. Here comes the kick by Denver South. It is it's
going to roll out
of bounds. I think that was just a shank, personally. I doubt he's trying to onside that.
No.
Some of the fans are, again, getting unruly, thinking that was an onside kick, but I just think it was a shank out of bounds.
You don't see a lot of that in high school football, and Tony Lindsay, who we talked to before, didn't seem like he's that kind of guy either.
Not at all. Not at all. And Coach Lindsay is one of the better coaches we have in this state. A couple years ago, they got state runner-ups with Denver South. Ball at the 35-yard line for Denver South. As I said, running clock. We're coming up under the 2:20 mark here in the third quarter. 48-7. Naranjo is under center for the Gators in the I formation. He will drop back. Get the pass away just in time. I don't know if you noticed on that play, Josh, but they doubled up Jenkins, the left defensive end for Denver South.
I saw him do it a couple of times in that first half, and then they got away from it. And Jenkins started to run a little rampant, so now that same thing, in-game adjustment. That time Connor Durant had some room. Wouldn't have been a huge gain, but would have been enough for the first down, but over his head. And if he's not able to come down with it, that ball just a little high for Naranjo.
Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Standley Lake Gators. Naranjo under center again in the I form. He will draw play up the middle for a couple yards to Kerr, Michael Kerr Jr.
Got to be frustrating for Michael Kerr. He had 16 carries for 185 yards last week, and he's probably pretty close to that number of carries, but I'd be surprised if he's even at 80 yards.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And when you're down big, it's tough to really run the ball a lot. Shrinks the playbook. Looking at 3rd and 8 for the Standley Lake Gators. Naranjo in a variation of the pistol. He drops back to throw. He has time. He's going deep down the middle. Well covered by Denver South.
This is Devontae Loggins, the diving effort right there. He's already got a pick as well.
The Next Level Student Athletes game plan is helping high school athletes advance to the next level, strengthening academics, athletics, and social and financial responsibility. Visit nextlevelsa.com to get your game plan started. 4th down with the running clock. We'll see if they get this snap off before the 4th quarter on this punt for Standley Lake. They will get it off. The punt is away. Another high punt.
It's a good kick.
You see it gets a friendly Standley Lake bounce and will roll to about the 21-yard line as the 4th quarter has come to an end.
That last pass attempt, it was Kellen Mueller, the intended receiver. That's what's great about high school sports. Head coach Don Morse met him on the side of the field, and I could see him emulate him, telling me he wasn't running hard enough. So Morse upset. Even though you're down 48-7, you never give up, and Morse upset with the effort that time.
And that's what makes Coach Morse a great coach. I know today's game hasn't gone his favor, but you're never done coaching. Whether you're up by 50 or down by 50, there's always a moment to teach.
And took advantage of it that time. So I like to see that as well. That's what good coaches do in bad situations. You make the most of every opportunity you have to let your guys get better.
And it shows he hasn't given up.
Right.
So we'll see what this 4th quarter brings. I would have to expect, now that we are in the 4th, that Denver South is just going to start pounding the rock.
48 points on the board for Denver South. They came in averaging 30.4, while the Gators 24.8 on the year, well short at 7.
See, they might want to get some younger guys into this game as well. Looks like Lindsay will be the featured back here. I would guess that Tasco's done, that Trevante Tasco's day is finished. Having banged up his ankle in the first half.
Yeah.
And he's put up some good numbers as well.
See him on the sideline, far side. He's a little out of your camera shot on the screen, but he's got his helmet off, so he certainly looks to be done.
That's always a nice feeling. Out of the shotgun.
That's
Looks like
Devontae Loggins.
we got Loggins running the read option outside. He's got room. He is at midfield. He's at the 30. He is at the 20. He cuts it inside.
Wow.
He's at the 10, the 5. Touchdown.
What a
Denver
move
South.
on that cutback.
Wow, what a play by Devontae Loggins. We talked about him earlier having a solid game on the defensive side. His first snap at quarterback takes it 79 yards. Wow.
So Devontae Loggins with a touchdown and an interception. That's just Madden-esque, that cut back in. We were talking about beating up McChesney on Madden. That's something we would do to him on Madden.
There's no question we would do that to him. No doubt.
That's frustrating if you're the Gators defense, and we just talked about Coach Lindsey. That's not an intended 79-yard touchdown run. That's
no, it's not.
Young man making a play.
That's a great play. Seen a couple exceptional plays on both sides today. Here's the point after for Denver South. The kick is up, and it is no good. Wide right by Denver South. Score is 54-7. Denver South is leading here in the fourth quarter. We're at the 10.5-minute mark.
You see 17 coming off the field here. That's Brody Hoffman. So he's been back into the game, but he is definitely in pain.
Hurting.
Not sure why they keep rolling him out there. You see him right there shaking his head.
If I'm a coach or trainer, I take his helmet.
Yeah.
I take his helmet. We see some of the staff over here sending out some texts.
Hopefully down to that coach to get him out of the game.
Let's hope so.
He's sitting down now on the bench.
Somebody needs to go steal his helmet. Guys, take my headset. I'm going to go grab his helmet. As I said, 54-7, we are under the 10-minute mark now as Denver South is about to kick off. I saw Naranjo's night might be over as well. I saw somebody else warming up. The backup quarterback for Standley Lake might get some run here. And why not?
Yeah.
Get him some varsity snaps.
Could be Justin Shoemate, who takes some reps as a junior.
Big kick, which will bounce into the end zone and is a touchback.
Jalen Williams as well may get an opportunity. I'm sorry, Jake Fouts may also get his opportunity, but you'd think Justin Shoemate, being the junior, would get seniority rule on this one.
Absolutely. If you want a copy of this game, if you love what you see, don't forget to go to Stream It Sports Store and purchase a DVD or Blu-ray copy today.
Can't say it enough either what Phil and the guys at Stream It Sports are doing. If you're a parent of an athlete, a brother, a sister of an athlete, do the work for the college. Send them a recruiting tape. It'll make you stand out. And Stream It Sports can do that for you.
Absolutely. Looks like we have Justin Shoemate in the game, quarterback for the Standley Lake Gators. Hands the ball up the middle for, looks like no gain for Standley Lake. 2nd and 10. Under 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter at this showdown.
There's another Gator limping on that far side. It's number 57, Terrell Starks, the 6'3" sophomore. He got up, grabbed his knee, I saw on the monitor, and limped back towards the huddle.
You hate to see injuries at any level, especially this one. I formation for Standley Lake. Shoemate drops back, hands the ball off. Looks like we got a gain of 1 on the inside carry.
It's Ty Hammock, backup running back. He's a sophomore. He's getting some run here as well. Which, as you said, why not? It's the right thing to do. Let these young kids get some tick on the varsity level. If anything helps get that Letterman jacket that we were talking about, which means a lot to these kids.
No doubt, no doubt. I remember when I got my first run, I actually saw some varsity time as a freshman in basketball, and my God, was I nervous. But it made me better, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I formation again for Standley Lake. Shoemate drops back. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to throw the slant out to number 86, Blake Gingles.
Gingles got up looking for a flag. He was knocked down, but
looks like a little high pass there. Looks like we got a flag on the play, but you know what that means.
Ref
Friendship
huddle.
time.
That's right.
Phil leans in and talks about them doing paper, rock, scissors. I don't know why they don't do that instead of a coin toss in the NFL.
They should. Best 2 out of 3. Another face mask.
Face mask on Denver South, which will give Standley Lake a first down.
There's that Gator crowd. They haven't given up.
I know one of the super fans, Gut, in front of us is cheering him on.
He's wearing the Letterman's jacket.
Did you get a letter jacket, Josh?
I did. I was fortunate enough to sit the bench as well as a freshman on varsity basketball, and then finally get some time as a sophomore.
You know, I got letters, but I never got my jacket.
Really?
Yeah. Looks like the Denver South D-line jumped early.
Getting a little antsy here. You know, I got to be honest, I couldn't tell you where my letter jacket is now. And if I did know, that may be a little weird. All due respect to Gut in front of us.
Absolutely. Offsides by Denver South on that play. Brings up 1st and 5. We are just ticking under the 6-minute mark here in the 4th quarter here at the NAAC. Shoemate drops back, hands the ball off up the middle. Gain of about 1. Make it 2nd and 4 for Standley Lake.
Ty Hammock keeping the legs moving.
And we talked about the defensive line being a little antsy. These are probably younger kids getting some run too, so they want to jump out, make a play, show their worth for the varsity.
That's a good point.
And give credit to every single kid on the field right now. Is they're not taking plays off. They're still going hard on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, that's the best thing about high school sports is these kids never quit.
It looks like play action. Rolls out, makes a throw. Great catch by number 41 for Standley Lake, Nick Hubbock, a junior.
That's a heck of a throw by Shoemate. He's rolling away from himself to try to make the throw on the run in a pretty tight little window.
He was under pressure as well. Very nice play there. Looks like we got 3rd and about a yard at the 45-yard line of Standley Lake. You open up the entire playbook here because you're going to go for it on 4th down if you don't get it. So we'll see what they dial up here on the I formation. Fullback dive here. Number 22, Jacob Rennie, the sophomore for Standley Lake. Whenever I see a number 22 at the fullback position, I can't help but think of Jacob Hester.
Yeah.
The former LSU, former Bronco, former Charger. Obviously, he's just a hair bigger than Jacob Rennie, but nonetheless, see the 22 at the fullback position.
Hester with a play that a lot of people will never forget against Florida a few years back with I hate the SEC, but
as do I. I formation for Standley Lake. Handoff to number 28, Ty Hammock, the sophomore.
That's Hammock. He's getting the late time, but he's making the most of it. He's got about 3-4 yards of carry.
Absolutely, against a stout defense. And here's the thing: is I'm looking at the backups for Denver South.
Same size.
The same size, exactly. Exactly. That big number 90. Yikes! Is that McChesney out there? Tough to say.
Yeah, so good things coming in the future for Denver South as well.
No question. Rollout. Big play by number 78.
It's Elias Lozano.
Very nice play. Big loss. He's a sophomore. Looks like a grown man out there.
Yeah.
We talked about McChesney. Be the next challenger to survive the dungeon. Elite personal trainers Famey and Megan will put you to the test with the new Dungeon X competition classes. Tweet hashtag I will survive to @60strength for more info. And if nothing else, just a little eye candy.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Shoemate tried to avoid that time. Just couldn't get away from Lozano. There's that fullback.
Very nice play. Couldn't tell who had the ball, and you look at Denver South is tackling some guys.
There's a little fight, little mix-up there on that backside.
Frustration grows.
Absolutely.
When you're under 2.5 minutes left in a blowout. We'll see what the flags are. My guess would be offsetting penalties. Excuse me.
You see number 77, Austin Gutt, running off of the field, and Don Morris is going to talk to him. You see him on the bottom right of your screen right there. That was Austin Gutt shoving the Denver South player. It was number 36 over there. And he may have been the one that got caught. And then he was fired up, was Austin Gutt. He even got in a little shoving match with one of his teammates. And now he's off on the sideline to calm down Anthony Moore trying to talk to him.
Offsetting unsportsmanlike on both teams. Brings up 4th down and long for Standley Lake. 4th down at about 10. Phil wants him tossed. Looks like we're under 90. He wants the refs toss, excuse me. Looks like we're under the 90-second mark.
That is certainly just a frustration thing. You see him down here still. And
yep. It's tough to keep your composure.
yeah, you're down 54-7. It is what it is.
You see some fire in him, though.
Right.
Can't complain about that. And as we said, Coach Morris talking to him, never a downtime in coaching. Always teaching. And we talked to both these coaches before the game, and two very nice guys, two guys who really care about their programs and who genuinely enjoy coaching football.
You see the referee is actually huddling up both teams, and the message is, hey, there's a minute 19 here. Let's not do anything stupid.
Right.
This game is over. Everybody keep a cool head, and let's play a minute 19 worth of football and go home.
So as Josh mentioned, minute 19 left in the game, 4th and 10 at the 47-yard line for Standley Lake.
Where clock's rolling now as the ball's set.
Shortly, we will be announcing our next level student athlete player of the game. 4th down here, running clock. We are under a minute left. Looks like another fullback dive. Nice gain for about 7 yards, but not quite enough. Running clock, we are down to 45 seconds. And we have come up with our next level player of the game, Trevante Tasco.
Yep, tough to argue with it. You could say Marcus Lindsay, who scored 3 touchdowns to Tasco's 2, but Tasco didn't play in the entire 4th quarter, and just his presence was the difference in the game. The kid is a difference maker, and Standley Lake had to recognize every time he was on the field, and that changed the way they had to play football. So.
Absolutely. It looks like they're going to let the clock run out. Final score here at the NAAC, 54-7. As we said, Trevante Tasco is the next level student athlete player of the game. Josh, what can you say about this game?
You know, Denver South did what they wanted to do. We talked to Coach Lindsay before the game and said a heavy dose of the run is what they were going to get. And that's what we saw. Trevante Tasco just bulldozed his way, bullied his team to a win. Marcus Lindsay also doing his thing with 3 touchdowns. And Isaiah Singleton kept the threat of the pass alive, which allowed that running game to keep blowing up the Gators defense. And for the Gators, look, you couldn't get Michael Kerr going. That run game has to go to open up things for Naranjo. And Michael Kerr couldn't get going because of this big defensive line of the Rebels. So if you can't get the run game going, it certainly limits you. And when the other team, like the Rebels, is full of a bunch of athletes that can just outrun and outmuscle the other side, it's tough to do anything with your quarterback.
Couldn't agree with you more. So that brings this game to a close. As I said, Denver South wins 54-7. Next week, Standley Lake is at Wheat Ridge, and Denver South hosts Golden. For Stream It Sports, our next broadcast is tomorrow, bringing you Chatfield at Mullen, 7 o'clock. Next week, we will be bringing you Chatfield and Arvada West on Thursday, and on Friday, Douglas County versus Chaparral. Stream It Sports, and for Josh Dover, my name is Andrew Fogoros. We will see you later.